Hello and welcome to the second episode of SIP Diaries Season 2. Today we have with us Umesh Sharma. Hi Umesh.
Hi.
And Siddharth Rao. Both of them had interned at UV Dreyfus Company, also known as LDC. I would like to ask Umesh to give a short brief about LDC.
So LDC is basically agri commodity trading company. It is one of the four major giants in this sector, apart from the Cargill bunch and the Arch. So it is also started its venture in FMCG sector as Siddharth has been part of it. So this was it.
And now I'd like to ask about the roles they have performed at LDC. So starting with Siddharth, can you please explain what was your role at LDC?
Yeah, actually, my internship project it majorly revolved around trade marketing and competition analysis for their newly launched FMCG brand Vibor. It's an edible oil brand and it's their entry product in the FMCG industry of India.
And what was your role, Umesh?
So after the Siddharth role, my role starts. I was the part of the execution team. In that, my project was around the inventory level. So basically, the company have the inventory levels of the 26 days. I have to short it down to 7 days. It also considers the rent and the transportation cost also. So these are the parts that I was handling.
Okay, to summarize, we can say that Umesh had a very much operation-centric role and Siddharth has a very much marketing-centric role in the LDC. So Siddharth, how would a typical day at your internship would look like?
I used to reach office at around 9:30, and then I used to join the meetings that my manager had with the marketing agencies with which we had our brands tie-up with. And along with that, he used to provide me a little bit of work, basically communicating and making sure that yes, our marketing creatives they are getting placed in the market at the right time, at the right position. And apart from that, I used to work on my final presentation. So that's how my day revolved around. And yes, in the mid of the day, we also had a really delicious lunch as well every day. And that's pretty much it. I used to leave the office at around 4 p.m.
Lunch was provided by the company.
Okay. Now going to the process, the selection process by which these guys got selected into LDC. So I would like to ask Umesh about the selection process of the LDC.
See, the selection process was of the several rounds. Number one was, of course, CV shortlisting. Then it was aptitude, which was my, I think, major stronghold. Then it was case study round, where we were given some case studies. We have to solve them within the report to the team. Then it was obviously interview round. If I say how I got selected, I think the one point I would like to highlight that I was able to convince the panel that I am the best suited for the particular job considering my experience and my CV profile.
Would you like to give some tips to your juniors, like how they should do the same to convince the panels?
See, before preparing for the interview, you should prepare the CV, your own CV, how you will be able to justify the lines to the panel, that how that particular line is convincing to the panel that how it is relevant for the job. So you have to work on that.
So basically, like we need to be very much precise while working on our CV.
Yes.
And I guess we also need to know everything that's in our
CV is the only thing that can connect you with the brand.
Okay, Siddharth, can you tell a funny story from your internship experience?
If I have to think about that, it would be during the lunch time. Every Friday we used to get served an ice cream, and each employee, it was written over there that each employee will have to take only one scoop. They were allowed for only one scoop, but it's pretty amazing actually. So I was on my 5th scoop that day, and I did not stop unless the senior manager pointed out that to me, and I was really like, oh.
So you were supposed to take only one scoop of ice cream and you took 5?
Yes, it was my 5th one. I clearly remember that.
One confession to make.
Okay.
Every time I always take 4 scoops.
But I did not got caught.
Basically, you got caught for 5 scoops and you
Yeah,
got
that's
caught
what.
for 4 scoops.
So you should know when to stop.
Yeah, guys, 4 scoops is the limit, and you should stop at 4th one. Okay, so Umesh, do you have anything memorable to share?
Not particularly special, but the mid-work breaks with Siddharth. I should share the one photo. Please upload it.
Okay, sure. So you both were interning at the same place. So you both were hanging out a lot together. So the internship experience was also great, I believe.
Not very lot, because if we say lot, then our stipend will be questionable for the company. So we used to hang out a lot, but not more than the per we are.
Yeah, generally during the lunch time only. But apart from that, we were usually at our desk and doing the various things. We were trying to learn basically over there. So
although we chat a lot on the teams.
yeah.
And Umesh, what is your take on the work culture of LDC?
It was great. We were very well catered around there. We were given some treats between the work hours, so I think that was the major part that I liked.
Okay. And Umesh, can you elaborate, like, why did you pick LDC for the internship?
See, there are 2 reasons. Number one is the brand. The LDC, which is Louis Schaefer's company, is one of the 4 major giants around the globe in the agriculture trade, apart from the Cargill and Lynch. And the second is the role that I was offered. It was operations in execution department. It is always interesting to be the part of the main execution mechanism of this level of the company. So it was my major motivation.
Umesh, tell me some of the challenges that you faced during the internship.
Actually, not exactly the challenge, but the project that what I was offered was under the guidance of the chief of operations in the LDC. So it was a major challenge to impress him. I think I was able to impress to some extent, but not to the fullest. So the project that I was assigned was under the finance department. So my project going to impact the whole functioning of the company. So it was a major challenge to live up to the mark.
And what about you, Siddharth?
Well, the biggest challenge I would say it was I faced it majorly when I was formulating the schemes the schemes for the retailers and distributors. Since it was the schemes, I was specifically told that I had to frame non-QPS schemes. Non-QPS basically non-quantity purchase. So yeah, it's a term in FMCG. So when I was preparing various schemes, so I used to develop them. Like it would take me almost maybe a whole day or 2-3 days basically to carry out to make sure that what will be cost and how it will be executed. But whenever I used to take it to my manager, he somehow many times it happened that he used to somehow take out a flaw in them and he used to teach me about it. So I got to learn a lot. It was like that whenever you have to do your work, you will have to do you will have to think about almost everything whenever you have to take out a strategy. So while formulating some strategy, you cannot have a narrow vision. That is what I took away from it, and basically the challenge it turned out to be I made actually 80 to 90 slides for my final presentation, but I had to cut it down to almost 40 slides. So at that point of time, it was really difficult, but in the end, I did it.
Costing is one of the major challenges that we face in particular projects, because the cost is what the company is going to decide. What we can do is we can drop any idea, but the cost is the point that really matters. So it was the major challenge.
See, whenever you are doing like any work provided to you, if it is regarding developing something or developing a strategy, so first it's always best to understand about the budget of the company and about the cost. That you just cannot go you just cannot go wild and think about that. Yes, we will do this, we will do that. We did total disregard for the budget and everything, which I found out the hard way because I developed a really good scheme. According to me, it was, but when I saw the budget, the cost for that, it was coming out as almost $100 per metric ton, and the budget was only $10 per metric ton. So it was 10 times costlier than what they had in their mind. So basically, it's always best to first question, what are our strengths, what do we have, what are our foundations and everything, and then work accordingly, then move forward.
So the major take is before starting anything, you should know the constraints.
My next question is to both of you. Who do you think should join LDC?
Uh, if I have to give out a perspective from from marketer's point of view, uh, the person, someone who is willing to learn, and someone who have the understanding, not from the point of view of as a company representative, rather than they should also have a point of view from the consumer side as well. So understanding the consumer behavior and understanding the market, we would be catering to, the company would be catering to, it is very crucial. And someone who can understand these touch points, consumer touch points, so I think they should go out for marketing roles and everything.
And I think Umesh, you can answer it from a operation perspective.
If I talk about the operations, I believe the person who is more interested towards the day-to-day operations execution, how the company works, how the back-end department works, how the supply chain is connected to the daily marketing operations. So I think the person who is willing to learn the mechanism of the execution department is more inclined towards that.
So if somebody, like if some of your junior want to aspire to get into operation role, what would you suggest him or what would you advise him?
First of all, you should have the basic knowledge about the operations field. Lean Six Sigma is one of the best courses for that particular role. Many courses, many certification courses are available on the Coursera and other platforms. So I think you should check them out for more details.
And Siddharth, what would you suggest a young marketeer to get such a great internship?
Philip Kotler पढ़ लो यार बस. That's it.
That's a very nice suggestion. So Umesh, can you please give some CV building and GD preparation tips to your juniors?
If I talk about the GD, my one tip is that you shouldn't rush to start the GD. If you have the proper point, then only start. Before starting the GD, you should prepare the points that you are gonna speak and prepare the framework, be it a pastel or the portals. So try to drive this discussion as per your framework. It was my tip for the GD. As for the CV, you should incline your CV towards the role that you are appearing for. Not just, you shouldn't make the general CV for every role, you should have to modify it accordingly. So if you are preparing for the operation, you should have to include the certifications regarding the operations or experience, your prior experience regarding the operation. You should have to modify that operations related to that particular job.
So you are telling there should be like juniors should make multiple CVs
Yes,
for
yes.
multiple job opportunity and companies.
You should make multiple CVs for each role.
And Siddharth, can you please give us some advice regarding how to prepare for personal interview?
Just like earlier in this episode, like Umesh told, to be able to justify what you have written on the CV. That's one of the most crucial parts, because until unless you have a work experience, because if you are a fresher, then the CV is the only thing which will tell you about the recruiter, which will create a first impression for you. So first would be to prepare your CV, whatever you have written, able to to explicitly, like, able to justify what you have written in that. And the second would be to understand the job description as well. Like, make sure that you read the job description and the responsibilities attached to it, and make sure that you know okay what kind of qualities this JD requires, and then formulating your mindset and making sure aligning your mindset in that particular manner only. So if it is for sales, then make sure that yes, you turn out to be a charming guy in the interview. And the first answer that you give, whenever they ask, the first is always the introduction, majorly. So whenever they ask you to introduce, make sure that your introduction is pretty concise, because on what note you end that particular introduction, that sentence, it's quite possible that the interviewer might ask the second question based on that only, the ending part of the first answer. So make sure it is something which you can handle, because you are the person who will be driving your interview, not them.
So to sum it up, both the CV and also the preparation of personal interview have to be personalized for the job description or for the company, right? Thank you guys for joining. This is it from our side. Please make sure to like,
Comment,
Share.
and subscribe.